Do you know that 56% of companies fail to meet original project goals and business objectives? Failing to execute a project with constraints is confirmation of project failure. You cannot ignore constraints or fully eradicate them. However, you can avoid or mitigate the impact to a minimum level. If you're struggling to manage these constraints on your project, then you have come to the right video. In this video, we would learn 5-step strategy, which you can follow to manage your project constraints. Step 1 is to fully analyze the constraints and limitations of the project. Even before starting your project work, you should be aware of these constraints. To understand a constraint, the project manager and his team need to identify which aspects of the project will be affected by these constraints. This can be done by asking questions like who, what, when, where, why, and how much. You can't manage your project constraints unless you understand what they are. The second step is to plan your constraints. Failing to plan your constraint is simply equivalent to planning for project failure. Once you know project constraints, you should plan your project activities around them. Your project plan should include how you would manage these constraints, how you would mitigate constraints, and how you would balance the project scope, cost, and time. You will need to implement strategies to address additional project constraints, like trying to prevent project risks from occurring. The third one is monitoring and controlling the status of that constraint. As projects progress, these constraints may become more rigorous or difficult to comply with. Identify, assess, and prepare for potential project impacts. With a strong mitigation plan in place, you can keep the most damaging impact at bay. You can utilize various tools and techniques to get the project back on track, such as performing risk analysis, cause and effect analysis, resource leveling techniques, and communicating with key stakeholders. The fourth one is to communicate the constraint and mitigation plan to all relevant stakeholders like your sponsors, customers, and key stakeholders. Educating your team about the limitations of projects is the key to managing the impacts and risks. The fifth one is to be flexible. You must embrace flexibility in order to effectively balance project constraints. There will be times when you'll need to compromise on project elements in order to stay within scope. Meeting your customers' requirements should be your top priority. Be always ready for trade-offs for reaching project goals. There is no doubt that project constraints are limitations or restrictions to projects. However, while they can pose risks to a project, constraints don't necessarily need to be negative. Sometimes these constraints can become opportunities. For example, if your customer needs to change the initial project scope, you may charge high costs for additional scope and increase profit margin. The sixth one is having a solid risk management strategy. A well-planned risk management strategy can identify, assess, and prepare for any potential risks. It enables you to deal with uncertainties and challenges head-on, and empowers you to build more value. With a strategy in place, you can proactively resolve the internally identified risks. Besides, it empowers your decision-making by assessing threats well in advance. Seventh one is keeping eye on work quality. Sticking to the project's timeline, budget, and scope is not enough. The quality of the deliverable has to be up to the mark. For that, you need to have effective project quality management. To improve the quality management system, you must focus on checking key points in processes regularly. Rather than trying to fit everything at the time of delivery, regular checks will ensure that methods are working on a periodical basis as part of the internal audit program. Project management is all about managing constraints while doing the work. And, if you would like to know more about project management, visit us at projectsmind.com. At projectsmind.com, we support project people in all the amazing work they do every day. Our objective is to provide access to world-class project management education for anyone, anywhere in the world for free. The concepts you will learn are applicable to all projects, from Fortune 500 firms to all the way to your own home. And, don't forget to hit subscribe button below to see our latest videos when they come out. See you later, and bye for now.